Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Ashley Shante here, and today I wanted to talk about my stroke. Okay, so let's do a list. So first is lupus, second is stroke, third is cancer. Okay, so that's like the timeline of my life. Those are the markers. Those are like the traumatic moments, I guess you could say, in life. So I wanted to start with the stroke because it's just amazing how good God is. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, the way that I made it through having a stroke at 25 years old was believing and keeping faith because, well, let me tell you the story. Here it goes. So it all started, I was at work one day. I worked for a great company. Started out there as an intern, and they had ended up hiring me, and it was great. I loved it. I loved the people. And one day I was working on a flyer for an apple cider social. I will never forget this story. And it wasn't even that I was sick. Something wasn't right. So I'm trying to get this image on this flyer. And I'm like, why is the image not staying on the flyer? What is going on? What is going on? And I'm like, kind of like internally freaking out because I just couldn't understand, and of course when you're working for a company, you want to be able to do the work and you want them to see that you can do the work. And so for me not to be able to produce something in a timely manner, it kind of started bothering me. So I told my supervisor at the time, I told her, I was like, I think I'm just going to go home for, I think I need to lay down. This is so random because usually if you don't feel good, you don't go home. You don't go, you just like brush it off, make it through the day. But something told me like, just try to go home. Okay, so I think I called my fiance at the time, who's now my husband, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going home because I don't feel right. So the first thing I noticed, I was in the parking lot and I backed up and I overcompensated. So I'm backing up, I think I'm good. Then I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm right up on this car. What is going on? Like, I know that I'm in a parking lot and I know there are cars around me. So, okay. I'm like, okay. I'm not thinking anything of this right now. So I'm driving out the parking lot, just riding in the whip, go around the corner, start out down the street. Wait a minute. Why do you keep on veering into the curves? Excuse me, the curbs. Why? Okay, we're driving. You're about to hit that curb. You're about to hit the curb. Take in mind, I'm in the car by myself. Okay, so basically, I'm driving and I kept on running into the curb. And it was kind of crazy because I know how to drive. I have a driver's license. So why am I running into the curb? Okay, so I make it around our little loop and I pull over at the Joe's Crab Shack, which once again, I will never forget. And I called my mother. That's who I called. I called my mom. I am hysterical. I am, Mom, I can't, like crazy. I was freaking out. Okay, think about it. You're driving, you keep on almost hitting the curb. What are you thinking? Like, what is going on? So, of course, she's like, call Boise, see where he's at, da 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 da. Luckily, by the grace of God, Boise was off that day. So Boise comes and he picks me up from work. I don't know why I did this, but I drove back to work because it was right around the corner. But of course, I was still running into the curb and I was just, I don't know. Okay, so I'm running into the curb and I am trying to, long story short, I make it back to work. I wait there. I calm myself down. Boise comes and picks me up. We go straight to the emergency room. Okay, so we go straight to the emergency room and I get there. And they, of course, run all the tests in the world, all the scans in the world, all the whatever's in the world. And oh, you just might be having a migraine. Or, do you ever have the spinny thingy, whatever, vertigo? No, no, I haven't. I'm actually only 25 years old and I'm running into a curb. So, no, well, you're just having migraine headaches. Just take these drugs so we can make some money. Okay, just take these drugs so it'll help you and you'll be better. I promise. Okay, go home from the emergency room. Something still. I guess I hadn't been put in a predicament where I could test it. Where I could see if something was going wrong. Okay, so we get back home. Okay, get back home and I just take the medicine. Of course, it knocks you right out. So I'm asleep. Next morning, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take the day off, try to get these drugs in my system. Fine. I wake up. I go to the bathroom sink, and I reach for the sink because I'm about to brush my teeth or something. Reach for the sink, okay? I reach for the handle, and I don't feel the handle. Where's the handle, y'all? Where's the handle? I reach for the handle, and there's no handle. Okay, well, why? I see the handle, I'm reaching for the handle, but I'm not touching the handle. Okay, so there's still something wrong. It was almost like I would reach for stuff and grab for things and they weren't there. They were there, but I just was in the wrong direction. Okay, there's still something wrong. So luckily, once again, because my God is so good, I was able to see a neurologist that next day after I had came from the ER. Went to one of the best neurologists at the beach. Okay. Go in there. Man says, how many fingers am I hanging up? Look, how many fingers do I have up? I said, what fingers? He said, go to the emergency room and tell them you're having a stroke. Bruh. I just came from the emergency room. What are you talking about? Go to the emergency room, tell me you're having a stroke. Okay? We get in the car. We go to the emergency room. At this time, my uncle had taken me because I think Boise had to go to work. So, take him out. We're not expecting them to say this. Okay, so we go to the emergency room. We say, hey, I just had a stroke. Okay. They run the same test, the scan. I want to say it was either a CAT scan or MRI. I can't really remember. I get like 3,000 of them a year. So we ran the same scan. The same scan. The same scan, y'all. The same scan. Doctor comes in. Oh, it looks like you had a stroke within the last 24 hours. Wait a minute. I was here within the last 24 hours. What are you talking about? You just told me that I had a migraine. Now I had a stroke. Really? Really? Okay. Neither here nor there, but that's how I found out I had a stroke. So, things were crazy. I was in the hospital for a few days, actually. I kept on trying to go home, of course, because who wants to sit up in a hospital, especially me? I've been in hospitals like the majority of my life. So it was like, who wants to sit in a hospital room, But of course, I turned up in the hospital room. I gave you any song that you wanted. What would you like to hear? And don't let me put that Pandora Silver and Gold radio on because I definitely was turned up, okay? So I'm in there. I have a therapist come. She does, because this is the thing. This was what the scary part was. It was like I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't read. It was things that I knew how to do, that I knew how to do, that I had a master's degree to do, that I couldn't do anymore. And that was the scary part. And I felt stupid. I felt dumb. I felt like your life is over. You'll never be able to do anything else in your life again. Because my brain was doing its own thing and I was trying to do something else. So that was a very, very scary time because even when the therapist would come in and I would try to read a line of the magazine, it was like the bear what. It was like I knew the words, but I couldn't. It was like I didn't know them. It was hard. It was And the reason was because I have what you called a right visual field cut. So that basically means on the right side, my vision was partially gone. So instead of how you see out of something, instead of it being whole, my brain was putting in other things. So for instance, when I was driving and kept on running into the curb, I was thinking I was still seeing road, but I wasn't seeing the right piece of road. My brain was replacing it with random old road that was in my brain. Does that make sense? So when I was seeing the sink and trying to turn the sink on, yeah, I see the sink. I don't see blackness. I don't see, like, I'm not blind, but it was a different image in my brain that I was seeing. So that's why I would reach for other things. Blows your mind, right? Crazy, right? I thought the same thing. So I eventually get out of the hospital. I did some physical therapy. I think I did a little bit of occupational therapy, because when you have a stroke, everything kind of like, bloop. I couldn't drive, it was just little things, like things that we take for granted every single day, like reading, and like being able to get in your own car and go somewhere. I was not able to do that. So after that, I had to recover, of course, and one of the most depressing things was thinking that I just, in my head, I was like, I'll never be able to plan my wedding. I won't be able to see the flowers. I remember telling Boise that. I know he thought I was crazy, but I remember telling him, I'll never be able to plan my wedding because I can't see the flowers. Now, in my head, that sounded right, like, it just, I don't know. It just was how I was feeling, and I think I probably cried at least once a day, once a day, because it was the fact, like, when you have faith and you believe in things, it's fine. I still have faith, but I still, when you're in the situation, and you think like, what if it never comes back? What if I'll never be able to see straight again? What if it's always like this? And that's what my mind was telling me. Although I was still believing in the healing. Boise, of course, was, keeping me pumped, like, you'll be good, you'll be good. You're going to be good in a month. You're going to be good in 2 months. He kept on, instilling more faith into me, but it still was that inner fight with myself to believe, like, you're not going to be blind. You're going to be able to see correctly. You're going to be able to do the things you want to read. You'll be able to read again. You'll be able to write things without scribbling all over the paper. Those were things that I was facing because of this stroke at 26 years old. So I remember one day I was sitting there, and I think my friends had come over, and we were watching TV, or we were trying to watch TV, because I remember trying to watch TV would kind of give me a headache, because I would try to, or I remember if I looked out with one eye, I would be all right. But who's doing that? Then I remember I tried to make a patch. Lord, it was too much. So doing that, I was sitting there one day, we were watching TV, and all of a sudden I felt like I could see a little bit better. It wasn't completely fixed or ready to go, but I felt like I could see a little bit better. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And I believe my mom was here helping out with the house and all that stuff. And so I was like, I think that I can see a little bit. I think, So then maybe a couple weeks go by, I'm still at home recovering. And I think I just woke up one morning and my vision was back. My vision was back. I had a full-blown stroke, and I lost half of my vision, and my vision was back. I know you heard that song, I once was blind, but now I see. This is real life. I was daggone blind in my eye. Y'all, see, I'm never going to say you had to be there, but when I tell you that God is so good, when I tell you that God is so good, You think I'm playing with you? You think I'm playing with you? Bruh, I could not see out my eye. Do you understand this? Like, that day, I was turned up. Do you hear me? I was turned up. Because I couldn't even believe it. I was in disbelief. Like, it had been months since, issues of not being able to see out of it correctly. Of course, things weren't as far as cognitive delay and things like that. I could have lost my mind. I could have been paralyzed on one side of my body. It's so many endless possibilities of things that could have happened. It could have killed me. Come on. It's a blood clot to your brain. This is real. This is so real right now. And I just want to say, like, I know whose child that I am, and I know now, I understand, like, they say, I remember Reverend Stanley, my Reverend Stanley, y'all. People won't understand you until they go through something themselves, okay? So, of course, I had previously been through things, and this is just something to add to the story, but it just, when I think about his goodness and what he's done for me, it's just a feeling that you can't really explain. It's just a feeling of gratefulness and thankfulness, and just after that, cancer, that was nothing. Do you understand? Cancer was nothing. It was hard. It was difficult to get through. There will be another video about cancer separately, but after having a stroke, after having lupus, you think cancer was going, what? Cancer was going to do what? Oh, okay. That's what I thought. It was after I saw him bring me out of that, I knew I could get out of anything. It's nothing. I'm not worried about anything. For the rest of my life, I won't be worried about anything, because I've seen what he can do, and I can see what he has done, and I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. But like I said, when I had that stroke at 25, 26 years old, who would have thunk it? Who would have believed somebody who is partially healthy, living life, having fun, got a man, just living life, boopity boop, boop, boop. And then your life changes like that, instantaneously. So that's my video for today, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And that was my story on what happened when I had my stroke and how I survived my stroke. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.